Alright, it is my turn to choose something for Ross to watch this week. And I'm going with Netflix's series Arcane. Now, because it's a 9 episode series, if you didn't know, it was released in 3 parts, three episode parts. And all of them kind of have their own, like it's one overarching story, but each part kind of fits into its own context. Now, I am making Ross watch part 1, and he is going to explain why or why not he is either going to continue watching or stop watching. Alright, so Arcane is an animated series on Netflix. It took a long time to create. The animation is really, really cool, but you can see why it probably took a while to make. And it's incredible. I've said it was the best first season of a TV show I've seen since Game of Thrones. And I'm not really exaggerating. Even months after I watched it, I still think that holds true. It's got a 9.0 on IMDb, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. The show is absolutely incredible. Now, part 1 takes place a decent amount of time before parts 2 and 3. There's a time skip between parts 1 and part 2. So the first 3 episodes, the characters are not the age they are the remainder of the episode. So the first 3 are what I'm having Ross watch when the characters are still kids. So we meet our main characters in Vi, in Powder, Vander, and several others. Silco, we meet as a bad guy. We meet Jace. And the overarching story is the struggle between Piltover and the Lanes, so they're basically 2 parts of the same city, but Piltover is the overcity and the Lanes are the undercity. Or it's going to become, they want to call it the Nation of Zaun, or because the Undercity with Silco wants to eventually break free of Piltover. Now, the first part really only introduces this. You don't get a full-blown into the struggle between Piltover and the Nation of Zaun, or the Lanes, or whatever you want to call it. The Undercity. So Piltover, that's where your rich people live. That's where we're going to be, one of our main characters, Jace, is in Piltover. And that they are very rich, very futuristic type of city, where the Lanes, it's polluted, it's futuristic, but in like a dark kind of futuristic, like a dystopian futuristic vibe. Now, our main characters in Vi and Powder are the adopted daughters of Vander, who is the de facto ruler of the Lanes, at least initially. I'm going to try to avoid as much spoilers as possible, but I might get into a little bit. And the story follows these 2 sisters who basically end up following different paths after this time skip, or are forced separated after this time skip. And they're very different, where Vi is physically very strong, a natural-born leader. You know, she's really like your, quote, true protagonist type. And then Powder is more of a tech kind of person. She's not really a physical threat, but you find out in an arcade that she's a really good shot, and you get some hints as to where her character is going after the time skip, because Powder's, the biggest difference between the time skips is Powder's character. Now, this show is absolutely incredible, and I cannot recommend it enough. In fact, I would recommend you go watch it. I've remained pretty spoiler-free with my introduction. So, really, before you watch Ross's reaction, I would recommend you go watch it yourself. At least the first 3 episodes, because Ross's reaction should only be on the first 3 episodes. Unless he chooses to finish it before he does his reaction, which is entirely possible because this show is so amazing. And the voice acting is incredible. Now, the characters in the world from this show are taken from League of Legends, but you don't have to play the game to even understand the show. I've never played the game, and from my understanding, most people who watch the show actually really don't like the game. It's an incredible show. Visually, it's awesome. The soundtrack's amazing. You get some really cool performances in there from like Sting, couple other pretty good performances. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Go give it a watch, please. It's really, really good. So yeah, Ross, we're going to see if you're going to continue and watch part 2 and 3 after completing part 1.